You know, we love learning. I know Pete loves learning about the rich history in and around Cincinnati. And we have some of the best storytellers and historians that really make it fascinating. This Thursday, you have a chance to hear about Cincinnati's wild and weird past at the Mercantile Library for Stand-Up History. And joining us now are the host of the show, Greg Hand from Cincinnati Curiosities, and Mixologist, love this, Molly Wellmann. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, I love this idea, this stand-up history. How did it get started?
So there's a bunch of us who were discovering there's new ways to tell history.
Yeah.
You know, the old form of history where you get a bunch of people in a classroom and you put them to sleep just doesn't hit the possibilities of history, especially a city like Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And so we kept kind of bumping into each other, and a guy named Kent Malloy. We always, Molly and I always refer to Kent as our producer, even though he no longer produces. Came up with this idea to do a PBS series on urban history around the United States, and we needed a location to do it, and decided on a bar, and somebody hit a bar.
I had
Molly.
I had 1 or 2 or 3 or 7 bars.
Yeah, you are well known for your bars around Cincinnati. Tell us about the stories that we can expect here at the show.
So we're going to be talking about Cincinnati's wild and crazy history.
Yeah.
So it can be anything. Like the last time we had one was there was one about murder, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Somehow. Really cool.
Yeah.
And then there's all different really cool historians around the city, like Dan Warlett, who is a
food etymologist.
Yeah, he's a food. He talks about the history of food in Cincinnati.
Oh.
And it's awesome. And then you get really hungry after listening
I'm
to him.
sure.
You know.
Yeah.
But Greg has had Cincinnati Curiosities for a while, and I read it all the time, and I've followed him forever, and I was like, dude, this is going to be awesome. And then I just love, when I was serving drinks to people, I just love telling the story behind the drinks, but I love telling, the story of Cincinnati. We have such cool things that have happened in the city.
So how do you mix in the mixologist part of this into what you're doing?
Well, we drank a lot here in Cincinnati.
Well, we all have specialties,
Yeah.
So she mentioned Dan Wellert does food.
Yeah.
And Kevin Grace was a constant, and he did like theatrical history or literary history of Cincinnati. Molly does the watering holes of the city. I tend to do a lot on the ladies of the night, if you will.
Okay, great.
And so we all have our specialties.
Yeah, and you both love Cincinnati so much, as anybody does if they live here for a while. What's your favorite thing about Cincinnati? I know that may be hard, but tell us.
Oh, let me go first.
Ladies first.
So I love this city. Well, I'm born and raised, 7th generation. So
wow. What side of town? You
West
always
Side.
have to do that. Yeah, okay.
West Side. I went to Macaulay and Coleraine, so that high school thing
We gotta get
is
that
out of the way,
Yep.
But I love I love everything. I loved our history, I think the most, the stories.
Yeah.
It just has you looking at the city in a whole different way.
Yeah.
Like I annoy my husband all the time by like going through the city and be like, what was there?
Right.
Guess what saloon was here? And it's constant because we had so many.
Well, that's why I love having Greg on, because he tells us about these kind of things. Just something about the museum center and its original location. So tell us, Greg, what's your favorite part of Cincinnati?
Oh, the libraries. Our public library is the envy of the United States. And then you've got these libraries like the Mercantile Library, which are just wonderful for encouraging people to come together and talk about history and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Our libraries are just out of this world.
Wow. So remind everybody where your show is going to be. It's Thursday, right?
Yep.
Thursday, 6 p.m., Mercantile Library. If you go to the Mercantile website, you can reserve tickets. And we're going to turn for one night the Mercantile into a saloon.
I love it.
It's Dean Regis will be talking about how to talk to adults about Pluto. Dan Wellert will be talking about a badass sister of charity who helped start
Oh.
Cincinnati Pizza.
Oh, cool.
Molly's talking about Hyde Park and how a neighborhood could develop without a saloon.
Just so
And I'm
weird.
talking about
I love it.
10 myths Cincinnatians just won't give up.
And one of them has to do with Mark Twain. I just found
One
that
of them
out.
has to do with Mark Twain.
Wow, this is fascinating stuff, guys. So thanks so much for being here. And remember, if you want to come back, you can do that anytime.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you so much.